Well, hello, friends and neighbors. It's John, your whiskey neighbor, here, and today I've got a new friend with me, Daniel.
Hello.
And Daniel and I, we just met just for you guys are joining us. We're going to do it's a special night, and neither of us have tried the 11 Souls, the bottle that we have here, right? The Gooderham Worts. I'm going to hold it to the camera for a second.
Yep.
So this will be the bottle we're talking about today. And obviously, it's right sealed. We still got to figure out how to get the plastic off there. So we haven't had this.
And I believe this one is not aged.
I don't think there is an age.
Maybe we'll have to guess at it while we're tasting. See if we can.
Yeah. Do you want to open it up?
Sure.
I mean, why not, or whatever. Yeah. But one of the things that, like, there's a lot on this bottle, and as I was saying, Daniel's been kind enough to join me for a little bit. We've talked our way through a couple of different expressions, and I know a little bit about this bottle that I can share, or you can share, but I don't know enough about it. Now I have to watch me. This is why I don't do openings on the channel mostly.
Well, okay. While you do that, I can say some of what
do you
I
know. Yeah,
is that it's probably one of the most experimental of Don Livermore's whiskeys, in the sense that there are 4 grains, but 2 of them, the barley, there's malted and unmalted, and then with the wheat, it is red winter wheat, and there's malted and unmalted, and then there's corn and rye. And what type of rye was it?
Well, there were at least 2 different kinds of rye as well. There was just rye.
Yes.
And then there was this, is it Bracetto or Bracetto, I think is what it's called. And what I read about it was that it's a new rye that they think is quite flavorful that they're bringing into their line.
Right. And if this works, like if this goes over well with people, I guarantee he's going to keep using it.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
So, you want to open it?
Sure.
Okay.
Oh.
Woo!
Love
that
it
was
so.
a good pop.
Yeah, love it.
Nice. There's also some things we were talking earlier that Dr. Don Livermore does in a lot of his expressions. He'll play with the percentage or whatnot.
Yep.
And that was no difference on this one, right? This is at 49%, I believe.
Yes, it's 49%.
And I think it was the old Gooderham Worts distillery was on 49 Wellington Ave or something like that. And so that's just a little Easter egg. And I think that's kind of a cool thing that he does with a lot of his expressions. Well, let's talk about the whiskey. Let's give it a nose and see what we get, eh? Yeah. Oh, that's the thing. We both start nosing at the same time, which is good.
But that's interesting because it is very Canadian whiskey. And when I say Canadian whiskey, I mean like what we legally define as Canadian whiskey.
Yeah.
But it's very rich. And when I say Canadian whiskey, not in a bad way.
Mm-hmm.
Like the good notes.
Right.
Oh, man.
I am actually quite impressed with... I don't want to say smooth, because every time people say smooth, they think forgettable, just, that kind of thing. But
easy drinking for university students.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's not what I mean. But for 49%, you think, there could be an alcohol bloom coming, because there is no age stamp, right? And we don't know.
Right.
We know it's cask ex-bourbon and some new charred wood.
Right.
But we also don't know how long. So it could be some young spirit. Okay, well, welcome back. Sorry for that pause. We were just getting going. We just opened up this bottle, and my cat leapt out of I don't know where and actually hit the camera, so we lost a few seconds there.
Yep.
But I think we're early in the nose, and I was about to comment that I don't find as much of an alcohol bloom. That it might happen because it's not like the 17-year-old. I know it's not been aging that long. Yeah.
I'm not getting any of that like ethanol. I'm getting very like vibrant, kind of like the sweet kind of like flavors that you would expect from Canadian whiskey, like your caramel, like your sugary type
I would agree. Actually, the nose is sweeter than I expected because we had read about the different ryes and whatnot, and I was expecting a little more pepper on the nose. But it is sweet. That maple syrup type sweetness that you get in Canadian whiskey.
There are 4, 5 types of. I mean, they use single pot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like a pot still. They used the single copper pot. They used a column and a double column still.
Yep. Actually, it's funny that this is one that we're doing a cork pop and a first thoughts, because I really think this kind of whiskey owes us to take the next few months to pick it apart and then talk about it too, because we just mentioned all those grains, right? The malted, unmalted barleys and ryes and the special rye and the red winter wheat and the corn, all of that. Then we've got the different casks, right? Ex-bourbon, new oak. And then you just talked about the different stills for the different ways. So this is a very complicated, like the way they've brought it together for sure.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I have to say I like the nose. And as you said, sweet brown sugars and caramels, vanillas. But I shouldn't emphasize it too much. I don't mean so candy sweet that it's just confectionery sweet. I wouldn't say that.
No, it has what you would expect from some of the Wiser's products. Like, did you ever try Legacy from Wiser's?
I don't have a bottle of it.
Okay, so the Wiser's Legacy, which is extinct now, it was some of their older, maybe like 15-year. I'm not sure about the age statement. And then they poured some Lot 40 into it.
Yeah.
And it had kind of like that sweet nose, but it wasn't candy. And I'm positive this is going to be the same way.
Yeah, I think that's what an episode of Trinity and Sea I saw. They had Dr. Don Livermore on, and he's like, "Well, you can't get Legacy anymore, but you can make it." And I think he had the 18-year-old in Lot 40.
Yeah.
And it was like, I don't know, 3 parts this, 1 part that, or whatever it was. And he said, "There's Legacy."
Yeah.
I thought, hey, if a master blender is going to tell you that, that'd be great. I still want to hunt down a bottle of Legacy. I have had it, but since I don't have a bottle and I haven't lived through a bottle at home, I feel like when you do a taste a while back, it's not like knowing it really. So I hear good things though.
It's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shall we?
I'm getting close to
I'm very curious to try this.
Cheers it. Let's give it a taste. Yeah. Wow. I would say wow. Mm-hmm. For me, that was a complicated flavor walk. Mm-hmm. I don't want to bias you one way or another in what you're about to say, but I got the spice that I wasn't finding in the nose. I got cinnamon, but then right away like a clove or a allspice, like something that's like a baking spice came up pretty quick for me. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then the sweetness comes back, but then even a little bit of hug from oak near the end. Like actually, I need to do that again, but the palate for me spoke a lot more than the first tight nose that we opened up.
Right. Yeah. One thing we didn't get from the nose, I don't know if you did or not, was I was not expecting that nice, sharp kind of spice. Mm-hmm. I didn't pick that up on the nose at all.
No, I didn't.
And it is nice. It is a.
But now nice. I will try the nose again. It's a little more nose, and that definitely, I've said it a few times on the channel. After you've had a sip, it's important to nose again, because I think it's maybe evaporating in our palate and around our nose a bit too. Because I definitely can pick up a little more. I was going to say almost a liquor, so not quite it, but a little bit of spice in the nose that I wasn't. I didn't talk about it at all when I first nosed it. Right? Do you get it a little bit more now after you've had a sip?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling that some of that, what we're getting, is from the quality of the casks. Kind of that deeper.
This is a great whiskey.
Yeah.
I again, it's first taste, so we're just live. We're not live in it, but you just poured it in. Mm-hmm. there is a lot of flavor in here, and I really appreciate it. I actually have to say I was just slightly, a little bit in the minute, scared from the nose. Not because it wasn't great. It was good. It was obviously a quality whiskey, but now I'm getting definitely more of the grains, right? Like the little bit of nuttiness there, and then I don't know, like the cast. Maybe again, just faltering for words.
Like I'm almost getting a peppery.
It's peppery as well. Like but that's not just it. It also still has the caramels. It still has the brown sugars. It still has, right?
Well, that's what you would expect from Canadian whiskey.
Man.
And I guess I know the fear you were talking about, because it smells like, Canadian whiskey. Was it just going to be a nicer, or were we just going to get like kind of an expensive bottle of a more complex?
Absolutely,
right?
and there are good expressions of that style of Canadian whiskey, and I can appreciate them.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things that I like about Gooderham Worts is the fullness of its flavor. Really, even just the regular release. I when I first had it, I didn't like it as much. I thought, this is kind of a bruiser. It's a bit rough. It's whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I pour it because of the depth of flavors that are in it in the regular Gooderham Worts, and I'm glad that the characters of all those grains are coming through in this expression.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
A big one for me is the wheat. I like wheated bourbons. Like
Okay.
Weller is one of my, as much as I dislike Buffalo Trace, Weller is a great bourbon.
Yeah.
Wheated bourbons have like that subtleness. Kind of like, I don't want to say a muted kind of hint, but it brings kind of like almost a mellowness to bourbon. And I'm kind of getting that wheat addition.
I'm not catching too much of the wheat yet. For me, it's still like the palate. When you said peppery, it is spicy and has a lot of the rye character that I do like in whiskey as well. So I'm definitely getting the rye. I said a little bit nut, maybe the creaminess. The wheat for me gives almost body to whiskey. Like it gives it a character and essence that I do appreciate. But I'm struggling catching quite a bit of wheat on here right now. It's got a great story as well. The 11 Souls, Gooderham Worts on his way over to Canada adopted 11 young people. I think some of them are pretty old, actually, like in their 20s kind of thing, but he adopted 11 orphans. That's a good word for it. And I think this is a nod to that, the 11, right?
Right.
And I don't know what else in this story right now. We've talked about the Easter egg to 49, the 11 souls. We've talked about the casking and the grains. But I would say if you tuned in, you're like, should I buy this? Should I not? I still see it on the shelf. In my opinion, it's an opener. I can't give it a star value because I'm just learning this whiskey.
Right.
But I'm very happy that we went in on this bottle.
Absolutely.
And the flavor for me is really quite something to go through.
Out of the 3 Gooderham Worts, this is my favorite.
Oh, really? That's high praise. I like the Little Trinity.
The Little Trinity was phenomenal.
Yeah.
But there's a lot to this.
Yeah.
Like if we were to like try another whiskey and come back to this, we would still be picking up different layers.
Totally.
Like it would open up new flavor profiles to us. So there's a lot going on here.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I really like.
Good. Well, thanks for opening this.
Thank you for having me.
Oh yeah, of course. My pleasure for sure. As I said, I don't hardly have anyone over, so thanks, Daniel, for making note.
Of course.
Good.
Yeah.
Guys, hope you've got something interesting to pour. Certainly my thoughts. I would look to buy this if you haven't tried it yourself.
It is a must buy for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right on. Good. You guys have a great midweek. We'll probably release this out sometime midweek, I think. And catch you on the next review. Cheers.